Today's January 5th, which means finally a change of scenery, at least for 2 days, and then back to the dorm it is, and starting up with school again, which I am excited for. I was going to do this on my bed, but the light beside my head is broken. Not sure why. I turned it on a second ago and it just blinked on and off, which is unfortunate, but I'm only here for 2 days, so it's not that big of a problem. I have sufficient other lighting in my room. I think the light bulb must be like just not screwed on properly, or it's just broken. Because it blinks on and off, so I guess the light bulb must still work. Just for some reason, the electrons aren't reaching it. I don't know, but enough about that. The reason why there wasn't a video yesterday was because I was in the air. Our flight from Vancouver to Toronto was started at 12 a.m. PST time, so I actually got here at 10 a.m. today, and then basically slept the whole day, and now I'm here, which means I have not a lot of stuff to talk about. But one thing that has been on my mind is how I'm going to continue doing these in my dorm, because it is kind of obnoxious. It's not really obnoxious, it's just the getting over the fear of telling somebody that this is happening and that gonna have to talk about this in front of somebody. Then again, it's like I shouldn't be scared, but at the same time it's like a personal journal, so I am gonna talk about personal stuff. The alternative is I go into the closet and I just talk about it there. I can also just walk to other places, like there's a music room in our residence building, so I could sit there and talk about it. I could just go into our floor's lounge if that's open. I can go into the general lounge in the dorm, in the residence building, so that's an option. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I was planning on just doing it in my room, but now that I think about it, I'm gonna be saying some personal stuff every now and then, so it's not something I can just openly speak about out loud. Other than that, I didn't, even though I had the time, didn't do a lot of work today. I did get onto our school's like, I don't know what you really call it. It's like the website where you have all your class stuff. Chemistry opened up for me today, calculus opened up, and philosophy opened up, which are all interesting. I mean, calculus, I think the first few weeks are going to be review from high school, so I'm lucky I have that. I'm lucky I have the AB calculus still carrying me for a few weeks while we get settled in. Chemistry I've been doing, not that much. I've done 1.1 and half of 1.2 so far, and I think there's 5 total chapters for the semester, so basically I've done nothing. I've done enough to, same as calculus, get settled in for like the first week or two, and see how I am liking everything and what my schedule should be. And then philosophy is a course that I took in order to boost my GPA, because last semester I took psychology, which usually is a good idea if you want to take the MCAT, because psychology is a section on the MCAT, so a lot of pre-med students will take it in first year to just get that out of the way. It's also required if you want to get into the only optometry school in my country that is in English, which is Waterloo, University of Waterloo, in Waterloo. And that requires you to take 2 first-year psychology courses. I don't know what the minimum cutoff is. I don't think there's a minimum cutoff for any specific course. I think the cutoff is 75% average overall to just attempt to apply to the optometry school there. And that's like an option. I don't know if I'm really hopefully want to do it anymore, but you know, doesn't hurt to apply. So yeah, I've gotten 1 of the 2 required psychology courses out of the way, and I'll just have to do one later on in other years. if I still do want to pursue optometry, which is I don't know. But back to the philosophy course. It's like a really easy philosophy course, as they say, a bird course. Um, and it's called critical thinking. It's like barely philosophy. I think they just put it under philosophy because they had nothing else to put it under. It's basically the course that teaches you how to think critically. And there are no essays, which is great for me. I hate essays. I hate writing in general. And I know I've talked to like multiple upper years that have told me like how easy it is. One of the people I talked to said that they studied for the night before and they got 100 on the final. Uh, so hopes up. I'm praying that it's that easy. I learned my lessons from last semester though. The reason why I didn't take psychology again is because I actually hated it. Partially because it was online, partially because I just didn't find the concepts interesting at all. Um, and the reason why I got a bad mark is because I didn't study. The final I did a lot better. The midterm I did not start studying until 2 days before the midterm, and I didn't make my own notes, nor did I read the textbook. I literally did, all I did was read the notes on the Dropbox. Um, so there's this like well-known Dropbox for first years, and every first year just has it. It's just a Google Drive with a bunch of folders and subfolders of things. And I just read through the notes made by somebody previously, and they were really, really bad notes. Extremely not concise. Not concise. I don't know what the opposite word of concise is. Um, and then I just did the practice quizzes for each chapter, and that's the only thing I did. Oh, and I also did do the practice exam that they gave us. I actually did really well on that. The practice uh, midterm, I should say, did really well on that. Um, but I think those questions were a lot more similar to the practice quizzes. So I kind of got lucky on that. And the midterm I bombed. So got a 62. So you know what it is what it is, you know? One bad mark isn't gonna hurt you. I got above 90 and everything else, so I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine. It's easy to look at the transcript and say, oh, this person worked hard. It just happened that he chose a course he happened to not like, and that's the reason for the bad mark. Um, but you know, we all recover. We'll recover, and that's the last thing I should be thinking about my grades. The thing I should be thinking about the most is what am I gonna do for extracurriculars? Um, because I was like watching. I was just going through TikTok. Gosh, I do not have TikTok. I was going through Instagram Reels, which arguably the same thing. And I saw this one reel, and it was like a one line this guy said, and it was like 99% of the things you learn in your degree will not matter. Um, and to a certain point, that's true for me. Not in med school, I'm sure. Everything you learn in med school is very important, but it is true that a lot of the minimal things I learn about like about like the Krebs cycle in biology is very not important to my understanding of how to be a doctor. And he was like, 99% of things you learn in your degree are irrelevant and you will never use them in your real life after, um, or whatever career you pursue. So it's more important to develop life skills, and more important than all those is to get relevant experience. Uh, so it kind of just hit me harder, made me realize, fuck, I am really lacking on that. And you know, at the end of the day, GPA is just a cutoff. It's literally, I think I mentioned this in a previous rant. It's literally just a gate to get in. So someone that has the bare minimum cutoff of GPA but has insane extracurriculars and relevant experience far beyond me, even if I had a 4.0 GPA, which I don't. Um, so that's the thing I need to do. Um, there's this thing called, I forgot what it's called, but it's just like a bunch of jobs offered by like the Ontario government. And I'm just gonna apply to a bunch of those. Because at the end of the day, I don't have to accept it, right? So I think I'm just gonna spam them, spam apply to all of them. I think most of them are due at the end of January, so I don't have a little bit of time. And while the courses are still, you know, settling in and starting with not a lot of coursework, I will just spam through those. Those are all summer jobs, you know, regardless of if I get relevant experience or not, I need to get some experience. And I think I'm just going to um, probably work at least one job in the summer just to get that stable income going. And then I can also get a credit card, which I haven't done that yet. Um, that's basically it. I got to figure out what to do for research. I don't know. It's kind of slipping away from me. I don't think it's happening the first year, which is totally fine. Um, it is fine. It's not great, but it's very normal. Uh, it's the problem though. You don't want to be normal. You want to be unique. You want to be special. You want to be extraordinary. Uh, but it's not the end of the world. I just screwed up, as always, procrastinating. I did fix a lot of my bad habits this year, but you know, it's the problem with having a shit foundation is that you can't fix everything right away. You just while people were learning this in high school about procrastination, I'm learning in first year university, which is not good. But I remember my dad said this one time. Um, Nothing in life is impossible. It, like you screwed up once, don't think it's the end of the world. All that means is that you made a mistake and you chose the wrong path, and you just gotta. The stepping stones are gonna be harder. You're gonna have wider gaps between you and the other side of the river. Um, but nothing is lost. It just means that you made it harder for yourself in the future, and you're just gonna have to live with that. Those are the consequences of your actions, and as long as you accept those, I think you're good to go. And I'm ready to accept those, the harder challenges. Um, yeah, that's about everything.